Year 2014, International Year of Family Farming, aiming at emphasizing the significant role in eradicating hunger and poverty, providing food security and nutrition, improving livelihoods, managing natural resources, protecting the environment, and achieving sustainable development, particularly in rural areas. SEWA is the lead organization taking forward the family farming in India. SEWA also leads the Farmers Forum, a network of small and marginal farmers in India, and is part of World Rural Forum, which is network of women and men farmers organizations in 5 continents. In this role, SEWA has been organizing meetings, discussion forums and consultations with small and marginal farmers on issues identified by the farmers themselves. The first consultation was conducted on February 12, 2014, wherein 52 farmer organization representatives from 9 states of the country participated. The consultation also attempted on identifying the impact of Foreign Direct Investment (FDI) and Free Trade Agreement (FTA) on small and marginal farmers, given the context and relation with the subject, wherein SEWA presented the findings of the study that was conducted covering small and marginal farmer members of SEWA across 14 states in Gujarat. This was followed by group discussion amongst the participants from various states to understand the impact at the national level. The reflections from the group discussion, which ascertained the findings and recommendations of the study conducted by SEWA, such as introduction of FDI with proper safeguards to protect small and marginal farmers, support local brands, local varieties contributing to local development vis-a-vis big brands, maximum procurement from the local producers by large retail chains entering the Indian market, need for collectives of small and marginal farmers to negotiate terms of trade and safeguards and space by government for participation, promotion of local seed banks to promote local varieties, investment in technology and infrastructure for small and marginal farmers and their collectives to compete, food crops reserved for the national market. The foreign production and procurement in India must provide capacity building activities for their employees or partners in the country. Strong land policies and regulations to avoid negative impacts and abusive practices. Promote awareness and education about the consequences of FDI and FTA.
वहाँ पर प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट ट्रेडिशनल के देखिए वो बहुत ज़्यादा है, कम से कम 100 गुनी ज़्यादा है मैदानों की अपेक्षा। वहाँ पर जो लेबर इतनी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है क्योंकि हमारी जो टेक्नोलॉजी है वो आज भी 300 साल पुरानी टेक्नोलॉजी है, उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं हो पाया, तो इसका असर सीधा सीधा इस पर पड़ेगा। तो जो अनऑर्गेनाइज खेती है उस पर पूरा इम्पैक्ट, उनकी फूड सिक्योरिटी पर उसका दुष्प्रभाव पड़ेगा, उनकी आजीविका पर दुष्प्रभाव पड़ेगा। उत्तराखंड में तो खास करके इसका नेगेटिव असर पड़ेगा अगर हम लोग तैयार ना हो इसके लिए।
वो जो FDI के जो आएंगे तब हमारा खेडूत के स्मॉल खेडूत जो हैं उन्हीं के पास से खरीदना चाहिए, तो फार्मर को फायदा होगा, नाना सीमांत खेडूत को। और डंपिंग जो न था उन्हीं के लिए एग्रीमेंट में कुछ प्रोविज़न रखना चाहिए। और जो है टेक्नोलॉजी आएगी नई, लेकिन ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी आनी चाहिए कि जो ये टेक्नोलॉजी से स्मॉल एंड मार्जिनल फार्मर को फायदा होना चाहिए, ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी। दूसरा था हमारा जो स्थानिक खेडूत संगठन है, फार्मर संगठन, उनको मजबूत करना चाहिए और स्थानिक मार्केट खड़ा होना चाहिए।
Irrigation facility is very poor in Northeast and also in West Bengal. So, but when we look into the FDI approach, they don't have this kind of like water management system, they don't have. And then the cooperative or the farmers producers, they don't have that kind of an approach. So unless they have that kind of approach, then this will be a negative for us. And then The existing marketing infrastructure may be disrupted. Chances of, again, huge unemployment. Of course, unemployment is already in existence in our place. But again, with the improved technology, there will be, again, an increase in unemployment. And then there will be a chances of increased price of consumer goods and also delay financial assistance. We discussed this because we face a problem when it comes to loan credit for the small and marginal farmers. So what happens, unless this financial assistance is received on time, then only FDI will be a negative for us, because sometimes farmers, they receive the credit only after the sowing period is over. So at that time they cannot do anything anymore, and it also increased to default.
This was followed by presentation on extensive qualitative research on the state of family farming in India, analyzing current conditions and how things have changed over the last 10 years. Based on in-depth interviews with 150 small and marginal farmers associated with Seva and partners in several different states. Mr. Peter Kenmore, country head FAO, was of the view that this was a very good study conducted by Seva with 150 family farmers. He suggested that we present the results of this study in the regional conference that is scheduled in August 2014. One of the pressing points which emerged out was the felt need of strengthening the organization of small and marginal farmers. Seva then presented the information on Farmers Forum, a network of small and marginal farmers in India, the benefits of joining the network, and how collectively the voices of small and marginal farmers could be strengthened and linked with the policy makers.
To be associated with the forum since the first phase, and two women farmers were selected from our state, Meghalaya, and during the first phase we have been able to visit, to meet with the other farmers to learn the issues. And we are also privileged to have the second phase. Yeah, as our brother here, he said, like in the first phase we have, we don't have like trainings and exposure visits and all for the farmers. And then we also, advise Mita also to put trainings and an exposure visit for the farmers. So we are happy that the second phase have those program also for the farmers.
Seva extended invitation to new farmer organizations present in the consultation to join this network, and all of them were willing to become part of the network. The consultation then moved on to discussing the global view of International Year of Family Farming, including the demands of the farmers' organizations, which was set forth at one of the international consultations organized by World Rural Forum. The participant farmer organizations passed the resolution on working on the demands set forth. The demands are: number 1, each nation should have the right to develop its own food production as the basis for food security on the way to achieving food sovereignty, taking into account climate change as one of the serious threats to family farming. Number 2, governments must assume as an urgent priority the implementation of the voluntary guidelines on the responsible governance of tenure of land, fisheries and forests, which they themselves approved within the Committee on Food Security (CFS). Number 3, in order to promote family farming, nations, the majority of whose population is active in agriculture, must proceed with the transparent and adequate allocation of financial resources to national agriculture budgets. The same criteria should apply to development aid and public investments on the basis of the meaningful participation of family farmers organizations as well as other civil society entities. Number 4, institute the equality of rights between men and women family farmers. Women who live and work in rural areas are frequently discriminated against in terms of equitable access to productive resources such as land, water, credit and extension services. Number 5. Policies in favor of the insertion of youth in agriculture must be approved, taking into account that only genuine public support to family farming will make this profession attractive to them. The consultation was concluded by Mr. Peter Kenmore, Country Head FAO India, who linked the various themes discussed in the consultation. He said that the consultation discussions were focused around 5 topics, which to him were like 5 levels.
We have this one, family farmers, individual speaking. Here we have the Farmers Forum, 2,990 plus, because you're already in the second phase, it's going to be 5,000, 10,000 organizations. FDI in agriculture, if I think of it as being the foreign relative of the corporate investment retail, you're already at millions. But they don't have a voice. That's the point. FTA commits all of India. No choice. Once it's signed, all of India is committed. The International Year of Family Farming, the World Rural Forum, voluntary guidelines, which is the FAO Secretariat. That's why I know about the voluntary guidelines. That's everybody in the world. Okay, so these are the 5 things that we talked about, putting the people at the top and the whole world at the bottom. So you get an idea of the 5 things that we talked about have a sequence in how many people are already involved in this. And beautiful is that SEWA ties together these. The government works in here. The government deals in crores of people, not central. State governments maybe lakhs of people, but not less. You can't even see less than that. SEWA sees individuals, hundreds, lakhs, and in the positions that we are discussing, crores up to hundreds of crores. So, as I said, the free trade agreement, the risk, the possible threat, is if it's signed, then hundreds of crore people are committed to an FTA. But the other way, that's a risk. But the opportunity is that if India implements the voluntary guidelines, that means for the world that already hundreds of crore people are included under the voluntary guidelines. And since the whole world is only 5 times India, right? 5 Indias next to each other is the whole world. So, if India can begin to implement voluntary guidelines, can follow some of the demands, that means it's so important as the example, as the leadership, as the model for the rest of the world. But to do that, SEWA has to work at these levels.
The consultation ended with a vote of thanks from SEWA's General Secretary, Ms. Jyoti Makwan.